Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that might make you question your faith in the justice system states with high crime rates despite having a larger-than-average police presence. We're going on a road trip across America, but hold on to your hats, folks, because we're not stopping at any charming roadside diners or quirky roadside attractions. We're headed straight into the heart of 10 states where the crime rates are high and the police presence is even higher. Buckle up, it's going to be a bumpy ride. First up, we find ourselves in Louisiana. Now, Louisiana is known for its vibrant culture, delicious food, and well, a certain laissez-faire attitude towards the law. But behind the Mardi Gras beads and beignets, there's a stark reality. Louisiana consistently ranks high in violent crime, and yet, it also has one of the highest rates of police officers per capita. You'd think that with all those badges on the beat, crime would be on the decline, wouldn't you? Well, it's not that simple. See, a large police force doesn't automatically translate to lower crime rates. It's like assuming having more chefs in a kitchen automatically means better food. Sometimes you just get more cooks and a more complicated mess. The issue is multifaceted, involving poverty, inequality, and a lack of access to education and opportunity. It's a vicious cycle. Poverty can lead to crime, and a heavy-handed approach to policing can exacerbate these issues, leading to further mistrust and tension between law enforcement and the communities they're supposed to serve. So while Louisiana grapples with its crime rate, it's important to remember that simply throwing more police at the problem isn't the answer. Next, we head over to New Mexico, a state known for its stunning landscapes, rich history, and sadly, a crime rate that's nothing short of alarming. New Mexico has the unfortunate distinction of having one of the highest property crime rates in the nation and, you guessed it, a large police presence. Now you might think that, with all those wide open spaces, criminals would have a harder time, but it turns out they're just more spread out, and the police, well, they're playing a constant game of catch-up. It's like trying to herd tumbleweeds in a windstorm. You might round up a few, but there are always more blowing in. The state struggles with poverty, drug trafficking, and a lack of economic opportunity in certain areas all contribute to this complex problem. New Mexico has relatively lax gun laws, making it easier for firearms to fall into the wrong hands. Again, simply having more police officers on the streets doesn't address the root causes of crime. It's like trying to fix a leaky faucet by mopping up the floor. You're addressing the symptom, not the problem. Hold on to your parkas because we're heading north to Alaska, a state known for its rugged beauty, independent spirit, and, unfortunately, a surprisingly high rate of violent crime. You'd think that in a place where you're more likely to encounter a moose on the road than a traffic jam, crime wouldn't be such an issue. But here's the thing about Alaska. It's vast, sparsely populated, and faces unique challenges. The state has a significant problem with domestic violence and substance abuse exacerbated by factors like social isolation, long winters, and limited access to mental health services. And the police, well, they have their work cut out for them. They often have to cover vast distances, making response times longer and crime prevention more difficult. Again, the issue is more nuanced than simply having more officers on patrol. Chapter 4. Arkansas, Razorbacks and a razor-thin margin for error. We're heading south to Arkansas, a state known for its rolling hills, southern hospitality, and, unfortunately, a crime rate that doesn't quite scream southern charm. Arkansas has a higher-than-average violent crime rate, particularly in certain areas. Now, you might think that in a state with a strong sense of community, crime wouldn't be such a problem. But here's the catch. Arkansas, like many states on our list, struggles with poverty, limited access to education and job opportunities, and a history of racial inequality. These factors create a perfect storm for crime to flourish. And the police, well, they're often stuck dealing with the symptoms of these deeper societal issues. It's like giving someone an aspirin for a brain tumor. It might provide temporary relief, but it's not going to cure the problem. Chapter 5, Tennessee. Walking in Memphis. With one eye open, let's mosey on over to Tennessee, a state known for its musical heritage, beautiful scenery, and unfortunately a crime rate that's not exactly music to anyone's ears. Tennessee has a higher-than-average violent crime rate, particularly in its urban centers. Now, you might think that in a state with such a strong sense of community and Southern values, crime wouldn't be such a pervasive issue. But here's the thing. Tennessee, like many states on our list, struggles with poverty, income inequality, and a lack of opportunity in certain areas. And the police, Well, they're often left trying to patch up the cracks, but the underlying problems remain. It's like trying to fix a broken leg with a band-aid. It's not going to cut it. Chapter 6, South Carolina, Sun, Sand, and a Side of Suspicion. Next up, we're heading to South Carolina, a state known for its beautiful beaches, historic charm, and, unfortunately, a crime rate that's not quite as picturesque. South Carolina has a higher than average violent crime rate, particularly in certain areas. Now, you might think that in a state with such a strong sense of Southern hospitality and tradition, crime wouldn't be such a pressing issue. But, here's the catch. South Carolina, like many states on our list, grapples with poverty, racial disparities, and a lack of access to education and economic opportunities in certain communities. And the police, well, they're often left trying to hold everything together, but without addressing the root causes, it's an uphill battle. Chapter 7. We're heading deeper into the heart of the South to Alabama, a state known for its history, its hospitality, and unfortunately a crime rate that's nothing to be proud of. Alabama consistently ranks high in violent crime, particularly in certain areas. Now you might think that in a state with such a strong sense of community and tradition, crime wouldn't be such a pervasive issue. But here's the thing. Alabama, like many states on our list, struggles with poverty, racial inequality, and a lack of access to education and economic opportunity in certain communities. And the police, well, they're often left trying to hold everything together, but without tackling the root causes, it's a losing battle. Chapter 8, Missouri, Show Me State or Show Me the Solutions. Let's head over to Missouri, a state known for its Gateway Arch, its barbecue, and unfortunately, a crime rate that's nothing to brag about. Missouri has a higher than average violent crime rate, particularly in certain areas. Now, you might think that in a state with such a diverse landscape and a mix of urban and rural communities, crime wouldn't be such a widespread issue. But here's the catch. Missouri, like many states on our list, faces challenges with poverty, income inequality, and a lack of access to education and job opportunities in certain areas. And the police, well, they're often left trying to piece everything together, but without addressing the underlying issues, it's a constant struggle. Chapter 9, Arizona, Sunshine State of Mind and Crime. Next, we're heading west to Arizona, a state known for its stunning desert landscapes, its retirement communities, and, unfortunately, a crime rate that's hotter than the desert sun. Arizona has a higher than average property crime rate and a significant problem with drug trafficking. Now you might think that in a state with such a strong emphasis on law and order, crime wouldn't be such a widespread issue. But here's the thing. Arizona, like many states on our list, faces challenges with poverty, a lack of affordable housing, and a large population of undocumented immigrants, many of whom are vulnerable to exploitation and crime. And the police, well, they're often left trying to keep the weeds at bay, but without addressing the underlying conditions, it's a constant battle. Chapter 10. Oklahoma, Sooner State or later, something's gotta give. And finally we arrive in Oklahoma, a state known for its wide open spaces, its Native American heritage, and unfortunately, a crime rate that's as stubborn as a mule. Oklahoma has a higher than average violent crime rate, particularly in certain areas. Now, you might think that in a state with such a strong sense of community and history, crime wouldn't be such a persistent problem. But here's the thing. Oklahoma, like many states on our list, grapples with poverty, a lack of access to quality education and healthcare, and a history of systemic racism and inequality. And the police, well, they're often left trying to keep the engine from stalling out completely, but without addressing the underlying issues, it's a constant uphill battle. So, what's the solution? Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. This journey through America's underbelly of crime has shown us one thing. Simply throwing more police at the problem is like putting a band-aid on a broken bone. It might make things look better on the surface, but it doesn't address the root causes. Comment below with your thoughts on this topic and any other states you think should be on this list. See you in the next video.